Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were flat ahead of the key elections and the outcome is going to be out by tomorrow. European markets were also down anywhere from about 0.25 to about 1.25%, both because of the election uncertainty as well as the Greece parliament is likely to get the approval for the austerity measures. So depending upon the outcome of this result, there could be some amount of clarity on the Greece matter, which is definitely important from a market perspective. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, most of them are quiet. The important takeaway is that there is a possibility of a rate cut in Australia by about 25 basis points. Talking about the flows, friends, FIs were net buyers to the tune of about 374 crore in the cash market, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 344 crore. So no major action on the flows front, and even our markets have been actually quite dull for the past few sessions. And in terms of volumes, the Nifty future volume was at a very low level of about 57 odd lakhs. So depending upon the election outcome, probably the market could take a further direction from here. And as per the indications, the race for the US presidents is actually extremely hot, and there is a equal probability of anyone emerging as the president of US. And in case Romney becomes the president, then definitely this entire monetary easing part could come under some kind of a threat, because he has indicated that he is not happy with this artificial liquidity pumping and low interest rates. So there could be some amount of weakness in case the Romney becomes the president of US. On that note, let me invite Shaibar to take us through important F&O cues, ideas and strategies in the F&O market.
Good morning friends. What we have seen in yesterday's trade, that in spite of huge intraday whipsaws and choppiness in the market, the Nifty has almost ended flat compared to that of Friday's session. But what we have seen is that there's marginal addition in the open interest front, and the cost of carry has reduced marginal. So that's been clearly indicating that some short positions have been built up in the market. Now, if we have a look at the PCR ratio, it's at 1.11 and has been continuously increasing. That's a good sign for the market, and due to which we feel that market is also able to take supports on the lower side. Now, the implied volatility has increased marginally, say by 50 to 120 basis point. So that's been indicating that yes, there would be certain little bit of uncertainty in the market, but still the overall bias from our side is positive. Now, the action from 5,900 and 5,800 call option has shifted towards the 6,000 call option, but still 5,900 call option stands with the highest number of shares in the open interest. So probably what we feel is that if 5,800 is taken off, then probably next hurdle would be 5,900. And on the lower side, 5,700 put option stands with the highest number of shares in the open interest, followed by 5,500 put option. So as a weekly VWAP is placed at 5,700, we feel that 5,700 on closing basis would act as a good support, and for this current week 5,800 would act as a hurdle. From intraday perspective, we have identified three stocks. Dena Bank is looking positive, so one can maintain a stop loss of 108 rupees 55 paisa, whereas Hexaware is also looking good, so one can go long on Hexaware with stop loss of 111 rupees 10 paisa. Whereas Apollo Tyre is looking bit weak, so one can short Apollo Tyre with resistance of 86 rupees 60 paisa. Now, talking about the stocks, talking about the sector specifically, yesterday we have seen a huge amount of short positions been building up in banking sector, especially in the PSU banks like Andhra Bank, Canara Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Kotak Bank and Vijaya Bank. And then on the information technology front, we have seen short positions been building up in Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra and Wipro. Friends, this counters needs to be watched on, because if markets are able to bounce from here on and is able to head towards the northward direction, then probably a short covering beam can be seen in this particular stocks which I have mentioned. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the companies which would be announcing numbers. Dena Bank is going to report a net profit of 239 crore. Remember friends that some of the PSU banks which have been announcing numbers, there is a great amount of volatility because of the higher NPLs, etc. So there could be some volatility in Dena Bank as well today. Hindalco, we are looking at a net profit of about 388 crore. Remember, this is a standalone number. The consolidated numbers would be announced later. And in case of Reliance Infra, we are looking at a net profit number of about 370 crore. And from the set of companies which have already announced the numbers, Tech Mahindra numbers were more or less in line with expectation. There was some improvement in the margins. In case of Reliance Power, the number were very good, and since some of their plants have been operational, particularly the Rosa plant, the numbers were looking good at the operational level. And in case of Cipla, the numbers were extremely good, both at the top line level as well as at the net profit level, though a part of the growth in the net profit is because of the forex gains. But even if you adjust that, overall numbers of Cipla have been extremely good. Also, Amara Raja Battery came out with extremely good set of numbers, and their PAT grew by almost 35%. In case of Tata Steel, they are going to increase their capacity by about 3 million ton by about 2013 and 14, which will take their total capacity to about 10 million tons, which is a bit of a positive for Tata Steel. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 390 and a target of about 410 to about 418. And Japan's biggest oil firm Impex Corporation is going to pick up a 26% stake in the Krishna Godavari basin, where the ONGC has a deep sea block. So this is definitely positive for ONGC. One can go long there with a stop loss of 262 and a target of about 275 to 280. And Jet Airways has said that it is looking at retiring about $600 million of debt, and even their performance has been quite okay. So one can go long there with a stop loss of about 368 and a target of about 387 to 395. IVRCL has bagged an order worth about 515 crore. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 40 and a target of about 42.5 to 43.5. And Bharti Airtel has actually increased the base rate of SMS for the postpaid customers. This is a revision that we are seeing after a long time. So there is going to be a positive movement in Bharti. One can go long there with a stop loss of 267.5. ARCOM has got a tax relief from Bombay High Court to the tune of about 5,600 crore. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 55 and a target of about 57.5 to 59. And in case of Maruti, there are reports that the workers at Manesar plant may go for another hunger strike and peaceful protest to take back about 548 odd employees who were removed because of the issues earlier. So one can go short on Maruti with a stop loss of 1508 and a target of about 1434 to about 1404. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a nice trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.